Hello, and welcome to the Modern Romantic Podcast, where we celebrate and inspire romanticism through passionate people who do incredible things. Hi, I'm coming to you live from 2026. Ah! Hi, I'm Trey, and I'm joined also in this present moment by my delightful co host, Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hello, we made it.
We
We did
made
it. We're
it!
here.
Yay!
Hooray.
How was your New Year's?
It was quiet, as sometimes it should be. How about yours?
Less quiet, but I really enjoyed it. I got a last minute invite for a New Year's Eve celebration from a friend from work that lives about 5 minutes from me, and so I went to go
Nice.
spend New Year's Eve with her and some friends in her neighborhood.
Very nice.
Yeah, revelry
Yeah.
was had.
Excellent.
It was just us walking around the neighborhood going revelry, revelry, revelry,
Right.
revelry.
Sword fighting, sword fighting.
Sword fighting noises. Uh, and if
Speak.
you
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, if you know that reference, that is an intentional segue to let you know that on the 18th
Of January.
of January, we are doing a completely unrehearsed script reading of Bum Ba Da Bum, The Princess Bride. So come join us and some of our delightful friends as we read completely unrehearsed and unprepared The Princess Bride.
It's very exciting.
It's
I'm
very
so
exciting.
excited. You'll get to
It'll
see what part Trey's playing.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you guys, but I'm excited.
Me too. It's going to be great.
Yes, Archer, hijinks will ensue. If there are not sword fighting noises, I will be disappointed.
That's right. That's right. And if you aren't familiar with The Princess Bride, it may be helpful to go watch the movie first. A, because it's a great movie, a
Mhm.
cult classic, and yeah, then you'll understand a little more of what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. But I am so excited to have our guest tonight. So, Emily, would you please do us the honor and introduce our fantastic guest tonight?
I would. I would. I Tonight. This is so exciting because we get to talk about fashion. Tonight we're joined by Gina Rose Gallina, also goes by Gina Gallina. She's a Northwest Arkansas based crochet artist who turns yarn and travel and a very small hook into larger than life art. She's wrapped parades and buildings and costumes and entire environments in color and fiber. If you picture her crocheting at lightning speed, fueled by coffee and peanut butter, that's exactly right. So, welcome to the podcast, Gina.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So
Yeah,
great to have you on.
Good to
absolutely.
be here.
Now, I was reading a little bit of your backstory, and I would love for our audience to know how you got started with your tiny crochet hooks into creating such a world of such imagination.
Insanity. Well, my grandmother taught me how to crochet when I was 8, and she never showed us patterns. I didn't even know patterns existed until my adult years. But, we would do baby hats and bibs for the special needs children, and I always crocheted throughout my life. It was in about 2008 is when I was traveling a lot, and I thought, well, let me crochet. And then more time in the van, more miles, more crochet. And then I was living way out in the country in Texas, and the internet went out. And I was like, what do I do with life? There's no internet. And I said, I think I have a crochet hook. I remember I found it in a bucket of pencils, and I had
Sure.
some yarn, and I just started crocheting. And I remember the internet guys actually there. I don't know, was it like later? I don't even remember. But I know they were there, and I didn't even care. I was just still crocheting. Just something, it just, I was hooked. I couldn't stop. And then it just continued on. And I had a little depression. I moved back to Arkansas, and I was in a cabin in the woods. And I just started crocheting everything. I started with a chair. I crocheted over the chair. Then I crocheted a piece and I put it on the wall. And then I just kept adding pieces. And the more I saw all the color and everything just starting to grow, It was like Pee-wee's Playhouse. It was just insane, but it was bringing me so much joy. And all my friends were like, "Hey, you're back in town. Why haven't you come out?" I'm like, "Can't." I'm stuck. Like, and that's really how it was. And I quit drinking, and all I had was espresso and peanut butter for survival purposes, and yarn. And it just got out of control. And this is when Facebook was starting with Facebook. And I had posted, I did like a deer taxidermy head, and I said, let me post it on Facebook. And I had like 14 likes, which is like the most I ever had. And I was like, oh, and my friends are like, wow, that's cool. And I'm like, oh, you think that's cool? So I had my friends to fuel me through Facebook. And like, I just feel the more ridiculous it is, the more I did it. And I had a few people say, gee, you need therapy. And I remember going, this is my therapy, or you need a boyfriend. I was like, why would you say that? My boyfriend. So, it definitely is healing for me. And it just got out of control. I eventually moved. I was living in Eureka Springs, and I moved to town, and I had a guest room, and that entire guest room got filled up. And you want me to shut up because I can keep going?
No,
keep going.
We're here for
keep going.
My friend Caitlin Quintel was to be at the White Street Walk, which is a great art event in Eureka Springs, and she says, "Hey, do you want to put some of your crochet in the show?" And I was like, "Of course." I don't think she realized I had a room full, and I wasn't thinking. I didn't know what was going on, but she let me have the whole room. I put all my stuff in the room. It was just wall-to-wall crochet, and I had some outfits, and so we were wearing our outfits around. Anyways, I'm walking around, and my friend goes, "Hey, the news. There's some guy at the news station, and he's filming your crochet." And I'm like, "Oh, what?" I raced down there, and it was my friend Jeremy McGraw, which he's on here right now. And
he is in the chat. Yeah,
he is. He's amazing. Well, I did text him, and so because I told him I'd be talking smack about him, so he's there.
Hi, Jeremy.
But he is an amazing photographer and creative genius and dear friend, and he was taking photos of the work, and that's when I realized, wow, photography and crochet, well, the right photographer and crochet really works well together. And he sent me all these cool images, and then he says, "Hey, let's do a show together." And I was like, okay. And I have never been in the art world in that professional scene like that, so I had no idea. So he was taking care of all the professional business and stuff. But we had a show called Yarnography. It was in Bentonville at the press room, and it was amazing. It was a great turnout. We had costumes, and we did 6 scenes where I crocheted like the homemaker, and it was my friend with a crocheted cake and a dress and the chair. And then we had the farmer, which was Farmer Zeke, and etc. You can find it at Global Image Creation. I'll put that link in where you can find all those images. But anyways, that's how it started, and it just kind of took off from there. And at this time, crochet was still a grandma sport, and it was a lot of like, why are you doing this? And I was like, why do anything? If I'm like, why do you crochet? I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. It's just keeps happening. So
it just keeps happening.
It just keeps happening. It's the exact truth, and it has been, and it hasn't stopped. So, oh, my friend's here. Melissa,
Well, that's
Melissa, yeah.
Oh yeah. Hello to Melissa and
Bonnie Montgomery and Melissa Carter,
Bonnie,
dear friends, and they're here listening from Texas.
Welcome to the show. Well, you have definitely not stopped crocheting, and you've done incredible, gigantic things that most people probably wouldn't expect to see crocheted. Like, yeah, you've done your share of granny squares, but you've also done like giant mushrooms and I don't know, is that like a mushroom you could even walk through? Like, this isn't a giant mushroom you would like fit easily in your house.
Yeah, no. And all this started because, like I said, I love the fact that you can crochet an entire room. and just how the crochet colors are grouped together. I just love that. That's my favorite thing about this. And it just happens to be crochet as my medium. And so it was really hard to find a whole room that I could crochet. I've looked into motel rooms, like, hey, can I yarn bond this room, wall to wall? And I could never find a venue to do that. So all my stuff has just kind of been outside, because the outside is almost like free space. And that's kind of how all that started. And I did a giant pineapple with Jeremy McGraw through State Pineapple Hotels. And we did an inflatable because it's easy to travel with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was a great way to do something large and be able to travel with it. And then Fayetteville said, oh, we want a giant strawberry. We want giant fruit too. So that's when we did the Fayetteville. And then when Arts 1% reached out, at this point, they knew I do large crochet stuff. And she's like, what can we do? This is Ann Jackson and Dacre Whitaker at Arts 1% in Springdale. And I says, well, let's do like an Alice in Wonderland type fairyland. I wanted to do giant flowers. And then I said, what if we did a giant mushroom where you could walk through it, which is inspired from the redwood forest, when, that tree you can drive in. And I love public art like that and landmarks. So I thought that would be fun, something interactive, because it's crochet and it's soft and you can touch it. It's not going to break. And so this is a great way for people to be, for it to be interactive. And everything I suggested, of course, my ADD brain, I'm like, a giant mushroom and you can walk through it and you can, and Hearts 1%'s like, okay. I'm like, okay, they're not saying no. So I guess we're going to do it, and it's kind of been my whole philosophy is like, okay, let's just do it. I don't know how it's going to work, but I guess we'll find out. And so for the mushroom, I had reached out to Eugene Sargent, who is a local metal artist, to build the frame, because this is for public. I didn't want to hurt anybody with my hillbilly engineering. And I want something sturdy that nobody's going to get killed. And, and he's wild and crazy. I just sent a sketch through a text. I didn't even meet him until he dropped off the piece. But he copied he copied this giant 10-foot metal mushroom sculpture from a sketch on text.
That's awesome.
Impressive. Yeah. And it was amazing. So then he brings that over and I'm like, okay, now I guess chicken wire. So I wrapped it in chicken wire. I'm like, that sounds about right. I'm like, well, looks like I need about this many squares. So I just guessed the whole way, and that's how that all was created.
I love that so much.
The only time I ever gone viral on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram was through the mushroom video. And the biggest questions I get are, what if it gets rained on? And I'm like, well, it gets rained on. I don't know. I'm like, we're all learning this now, you and me, and this is not something that's in the history books of, yarn bombing. We're just figuring this all out. And so I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of created like a little gutter system, which I'm like, well, if it rains, it'll go this way. And it'll, I kind of put some thought into it. I mean, a lot of people said, oh, you spent all that time saying it and it's going to get rained on. And I'm like, well, I did think about something. Like, yeah, I know it's going to get rained on. Actually, it was rained on, snowed on, sun beat on it, and it went through a tornado. And
oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. But I did learn hard lessons is that the red dye is the first color to fade in the sun. Now, the mushroom, the whole top is nothing but pure red.
Yeah.
So within a month, it turned into this orange, to my horror. And then I was like, well, mushrooms can be orange. It's not like the end of the world.
Sure.
So the next it was like, ooh. So the next season, the Community Creative Center at the Walton Arts Center, they wanted the mushroom. So I said, well, let me flip it and we'll use the red underneath it. And I said, before I do that, let me spray paint it red. sounds about good to me. And
Sure.
I was like spray painting it, and I'm like, I went through like 13 cans, and I'm like, and yeah, through the middle of it, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, it took me 3 months to crochet this, and here I am spray painting it red, but it worked, and it actually made the yarn, like the integrity of the yarn, stronger, and it almost repels water. It's almost
Sure.
like final pattern. Yeah, you can see that. And it stayed red ever since. So I have been spraying my outdoor art with either clear, or if it's solid, I'll just coat it with spray paint. And that seems to keep the color going strong. Something we
wouldn't have thought of
learned.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few pieces in my life of crocheted things like around the tree trunk or
Mhm.
on a fence. I've seen crochet and things like that, depending on if it's an artsy neighborhood or not.
Right.
And I've always wondered how long it takes for the yarn to like disintegrate, or how it, how they get it to hold the color. And
Yeah,
I
the
guess that
color.
makes sense.
Yeah, the color is usually the first thing to go. And then, I use acrylic yarn, the horror of red heart acrylic yarn. um, oh, yeah.
But for
Definitely for
outdoor
acrylic.
use, that's what you'd
It's
want to do.
perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, it does it. It dries quicker than your hair. And, we've had, when I started yarn bombing trees, people are like, it's going to kill the trees. I'm like, have you seen trees grow through concrete sidewalks? I'm like, nothing. No, it's not going to kill the tree. And there's holes. It's not like we're wrapping the entire tree in aluminum foil, and like and it doesn't.
It can
Yeah,
breathe. Yeah.
exactly. So, and I've never seen my big concern is squirrels. Like, what if a squirrel gets caught? Haven't seen
Oh,
a squirrel yet. But my friend Ron Landis, rest in peace. I yarn bombed his tree in front of his house in Eureka Springs in 2013, and it's still there, but there's just like one little piece of it left, and it's all moldy, but it's there. I was like, it doesn't have no color in it anymore, but I was just amazed. I'm like, wow, it is still there.
that
Why
is
didn't you ever take
amazing.
it down? He's like, I couldn't.
That's really cool.
If I'm crocheting a tree for a client, like I did a palm tree in Miami, and I said, it was an 18-foot palm tree. It was insane. And I said, this is a temporary art. This is not meant to last forever. So you have to understand, get your pictures while you can. And so anyways, it's already faded, and they've asked me to come back. So I'm like, cool, job security.
Yeah. Why not?
I do want to go back because to the mushroom thing, because you did make good on your original plan to do something Alice in Wonderland themed, because you went back and you painted the roses red, but in this case it just happened to
Yeah.
be a mushroom.
Oh my gosh, I never even thought about that. You're right.
That's so perfect.
I love that. I did spray paint the flowers too. So yeah.
I
Perfect.
love it.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. Pretty cool.
Well, and one other thing I'd like to point out, and this is something because English, because our audience probably doesn't know it either, and that is, you didn't stop at a giant mushroom. You didn't stop at furniture. You didn't stop at some of these massive tree things tree wraps or whatever they are. You wrapped a whole building,
Yeah.
or at least a wall of a building.
The whole building. Yeah.
The whole building is
Yes.
so.
And yes, and this happened because in Eureka Springs, where I started crocheting all this, it's a historic town. And, hey, can I yarn bomb the Flatiron? They're like, I don't know about that, or can we yarn bomb the big Jesus? I mean, the Christ of the Ozarks, I still want to do that. And I have it all mapped out. And I don't know if you've seen the Christ of the Ozarks, but it's a gigantic big Jesus up on the mountain.
Yes.
And so anyways, one day, but anyways, I heard a lot of no, and I understand. I'm not, I don't blame them for saying no. No, you can't yarn.
You would need a replica or something.
Yeah. So when I moved to Fayetteville in 2019, I asked my friend Hannah Withers, and she and her husband have Maxine's in Fayetteville, and it's the building. It's perfect square, easy, no intricate little spots to crochet. And I says, hey Hannah, building? And she's like, sure. I don't think she knew if I was serious. I didn't even know if I was serious, but I just wanted to
Is
do
that
it.
how you say? Is that how you say it? Can I yarn on your building? Like yarn
Yeah,
is the
yarn
verb.
bomb.
I love
Well,
that.
yeah, somebody said yarn bomb, and that's just been kind of the word for it. I know it's kind of controversial. A lot of people don't like to say yarn bomb, yarn cover. I don't know, yarn wrap. But
I
yeah,
say
I
both.
asked
Yeah,
Hannah, and she was
yarn.
like, sure. And I figured if I did this project, it was this. I can invite the community, and I can find out who are our crocheters, and who are our artists in Fayetteville, because I've been in Eureka so long. And I also invited Eureka and Bentonville, and I see these cities. I see that Northwest Arkansas is one big city. We all kind of work together. So anyways, we got this done in November. I started it in November, and we finished it March 1st. And it was 13 of us, and we did 1,300 10 by 10 squares. And then we
Wow.
did 13 10-foot panels.
Okay.
And again, how are we going to hang it up? We're like, how would you hang
Right.
something
How
like
do you
this up?
attach it?
And we
Right.
just stood there and we're like, well, okay, let's think. And, so that's when we got a PVC pipe, hung it around like a shower curtain. And we put rocks at
Oh.
the bottom to kind of weight it down. Sounded good, and it worked. Couldn't believe it. Yeah. And so far, I mean, I've had some flops, but so far I've been doing pretty good with guesstimating. But the thing with the yarn bomb, it was only supposed to be for a month. And then right after the pandemic hit. So
Oh, yeah.
we were like, oh my gosh, I remember Hannah and I were, do you think there's a coronavirus all in that yarn, or it's everywhere? We didn't,
Yeah, we didn't know what to think
we didn't
then.
know.
Right.
And so it stayed up a lot longer because we were afraid to touch it until we figured. Yeah.
I mean, we can laugh about that now, but yeah.
Yeah, but back then we were like, oh no. And so it stayed up for 2 months, an extra month. It brought a lot of joy to the community in a time of need. We did selfies and a lot of fun. And then that's kind of how Art One Presents found me. So it's just kind of, I've met so many amazing artists, people. So it's what it was, a community bringer together. It's just amazing.
I love that idea. Yeah, the selfies. And that was a time when people did need that kind of thing for sure.
Yeah. We were
I think
all crazy then.
that's fabulous.
It was a lot of fun. And we still have some of the panels, some that I put on my trees, and I gave a bunch to a local drag queen, Maddie Morphosis. I don't know if you know her. She's amazing, and she's on RuPaul's Drag Race. So that led into me crochet, and that was pretty cool. And I gave her some pieces, and she uses it as a backdrop. And so people in Eureka Springs have some pieces that they hang up. And Karen Rocket, she was project. She's on the chat room. I turned her to crochet. Cool. She was only knitting, and now she crochets.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a very dumb question, because I truly do not know the difference between knitting and crocheting. So for me and the others who may not know the difference, can you help explain that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So crochet in French. And with crochet, you were using, and you're creating loops within a loop. Knitting is with 2 needles. And that's kind of the typical knitting. Knitting is for like clothing. Like what we're wearing today is probably very fine, but hangs better, good for scarves and clothing, socks, gloves. Crochet has been lace, art, blankets. It's a heavier per stitch with crochet, but crochet really started out with lace with a hook.
Right. Like your hoodie you're wearing right now is knit.
Okay. That
Definitely. Yeah. I don't judge you.
Thank you. Thank you for not judging my fashion choices.
Honestly, a crocheted hoodie would be really cool.
Yeah.
I've made one. Crochet is back
Oh.
on the scene. I mean, it's amazing. I'm doing
It is.
I don't want to say too much because if somebody does it before me, I will die. But I am, I'll tell you all later. Some of them know. Researching.
Yeah,
on the
don't
history.
say it on the air then, maybe. Sure.
I've been researching a lot on the history of crochet and through the time.
Okay.
The Queen Anne's
Very
lace, all the way up to where it was where if you wanted anything nice, make it yourself. There was no Woolworths in the
Sure.
20s. And so yeah, it's kind of and how then it went to the 1950s and they were giving out free patterns with the yarn, and so that's where you found your kitschy toilet paper covers with the poodles on it and the bed doll.
Right.
I don't know if your grandma ever had one of those. My grandma had a bed doll. It used to terrify me. And walk in and I think they're awesome now. And then in the 60s, it kind of changed with women's liberation. It's when the colors started coming out and Granny Square came out. I don't think it was originally called the Granny Square, but it got called a grandma sport craft because those women grew up. And people like my mother, the boomers, my mother was like, I'm getting a career, I'm getting a job, so mom was worried about a career. Crocheting is like, why would you crochet? Why would you, you marry a rich man or, but don't crochet. It's like a job. But anyway, so mom never crocheted or taught me. So it was interesting how that turned into a grandma thing because it just never got passed down to that generation. And now
Right.
it's come back as a form of loudly of art and political. It's come back with a force. It's really amazing to see that. And now I don't feel
And innovation too.
yeah, and coming up with really cool ideas and taking old craft into art. It's just amazing. But I remember crocheting some pants, and people were like, "You're like a wall holder," like woohoo! I'm like, it's a normal thing. I love it. Love it anymore.
Yeah, I remember seeing a post about somebody making like crochet pants and thinking that was kind of silly, and then I just started seeing more and more of it, and then it kind of sunk in like, oh, this isn't just a silly thing. This is an art thing.
It is, and it's a survival skill. You can make fabric. You can make a blanket, clothing, and you can crochet with your fingers. I mean, there's just, and I think why crochet is taken off again, it's a very rhythmic move, very calming, and a lot of people kind of need that right now. And you can watch movies, I'm always, if I'm stressed out, like, oh, I got a deadline, I got to get home and crochet. I got to put on my pajamas and get on Netflix and oh, woe is me. I know, I love that part of the
Crochet
job.
deadline.
Yeah. Making it a job has been very difficult. But I so far so good. Going with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Someone said in the chat.
It's Hollywood.
Can we talk about how?
Whoop.
Okay. She said, can we talk about how everyone on TikTok thought Gina's crochet lamps were going to burn the whole world down?
Oh, okay. What?
What is this?
Yeah. So I also went viral. Okay, I went viral twice, which blows my mind. It was the mushroom and then crocheted lanterns. Going backwards, I had gotten invited at the Kava Bar, which is a local establishment here in Fayetteville, and she says, "Do you want to do an exhibit for the month?" And I'm like, to do crochet art. It's you have to really think about it. And I almost turned it down. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And crochet takes 4 times amount. Like if I was a painter, I mean, it takes more time. So what I figured, I was listening to Dolly that it's a hard candy Christmas. And I thought, why don't I make some hard candies out of crochet?
Oh, yeah.
So
Cute.
I crocheted around a balloon and I dipped it in water, mixed and it hardened, popped the balloon, and then it made this crackling. That's when I found out about ASMR. That's when it went viral. But whatever.
Oh,
I was like, go figure. Jeremy says,
whatever
I
it
knew it
takes.
was something,
Yeah.
something like that, you know. But anyways, so I started making these crochet glacy globes, and they did the candy, and it just control. Once again, I just started going and kept going, and then I thought, what if I put a light bulb in it? And I'm like, do they even sell lantern cords? You know, on Amazon. That's where I found them. So I stuck a light bulb in it, plugged it in, turned it on, and the shadows cast over my wall and ceiling was like this. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, you could see shadows. So then I'm like, all right, this is on now. And I had made so many of them. It was insane. It was a really cool show. I learned a lot. And then as it was going viral, you know, everybody was like, wasn't that bulb? Burn it down? Or oh, it burns the whole house down. And I was like, it's LED. Do people not know the joy of LED bulbs? And I'm like, look, I'm touching it. It's not hot, you know? And no, I don't know. And eventually I was like, you know, I can't be your light bulb coach, your life coach. We're not putting a food warning floodlight in this. I mean, it's a lantern. You don't want a bright light in it, you know, low
It's just
bulb.
glowing, right?
I don't think I'm a genius, but I knew that much. But anyways, but Holly and I would laugh, and she would see some of the comments. But the other interesting out of that is people kept something about crochet in the public. You crochet something and you post it, like, look what I made, and then here, pattern. That's your comment, pattern.
Oh, yeah.
Pattern. Which Holly, I know she's laughing because we're like zombies. We're like, pattern, pattern, pattern.
Like that's the only reason you'd be posting it is
Why
to
are you
share the
asking
pattern?
me for a pattern? Yeah, I don't write patterns. It's all in here if you can get it out of here. But I was reading this book about doing better and making changes. And I thought, you know, sometimes we just because no is an easy way. Like when your pattern, you're like, why should I give you a pattern? You know, that's your immediate thing.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, why don't I just say yes? 2023, I made a vow. I was going to say yes to that, you know, within reason.
Okay.
And I did say yes to everything. It was a very busy year. But I said, okay, yes, you want a pattern? Watch this. I'm going to write a pattern. And I had to, it took like 2 weeks because I explained to people what's in my brain and how I do things. It was very challenging.
Is it the one that's on your website?
I made the pattern eventually. I've got a bunch now. And I made the pattern. I made the pattern and I sold like 80 on the first day. And this is like $10 a pop, instant money. I was like, yes, and look what happened. I didn't make that much sense, but the launching of it was successful. If I had a better business way of thinking, maybe I could make this a better business. But every now and then, I think it's like a Lad Bible. Is that like what's that group? I don't know. They'll find one of my videos and they'll post it. And it will go viral, and all of a sudden my phone's blowing, which is great. And that happens like maybe 3 times a year. So yeah, I know. I'm glad I didn't say no. Pretty cool.
That's amazing. I guess I didn't realize you had more than one pattern on the website. I must have like stopped at eyeball and didn't scroll further, but
I need to
there are more.
Yeah, there's like
it's great.
6. And And I did. So Karen was there, and I see Jeremy. But yeah, people love the lanterns because it's fun, it's beautiful, it's a great gift, and patterns rock. They're great.
Yeah.
Great influence on being an
I've
artist.
seen that pattern thing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's no. Oh, excuse me. No, I was just saying that, trying to be a full-time artist, those are one of the need to do is just a little bit of everything in order to make this lifestyle work. I suck at waiting tables. I suck at retail. I suck at bartending. I suck at every life. I never knew why. I thought I was good, but and now I know why. That's not what I was meant to do. So stuff like patterns and teaching and doing what I love, and just people are always like, why are you so busy? Why don't you ever go out? I'm like, because rent's due. I gotta eat, I'm like, it's not, crochet is not like out here, I gotta do to be, but work is my life. So I don't feel like I'm overworked. I just feel like I'm living a really good life.
Yeah.
So far, but all that changed. So I realized that I might have
And
to go
look
work.
at how passionately you talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's my life. I love it.
No, I do because there's a note in our chat, but then I also saw something about it from your bio. A little bird told me that you were maybe once in a band. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with music?
Yes, and Melissa's on here right now with Bonnie Montgomery. Melissa Carper had a band called the Camp Ladies. We met in Eureka Springs in '95. I met her. I've always liked old music, Williams, Jimmy Rogers, and all the old Delta blues stuff, and Grandpa Jones. And so people in their 20s, you don't really find many people like that. Or listening to Britney Spears, and so here's this gal sitting on the bench playing Hank Williams. I'm just like, oh my God, someone my age, Anyways, became instant friends, and we didn't play much music. She did around town. I had learned how to play banjo, but I wasn't playing it out much. But anyways, I had moved to New Orleans, and she came with my other friend Kendra, and Melissa immediately. And I guess the gal kind of was rude, ticked off Melissa. Anyways, well, let me back up here. Kendra and we didn't want to get a job playing music on the street. We thought we could go play on the street. And I said, I can play banjo. And she's like, I can play harmonica. She's like, I know Jingle Bells and Camptown Races. I said, I can do Camptown Races. And we'll be the Camptown Ladies. And we're dressed up like saloon gals. And we had these costumes, and we went out and played dollars, but we made enough for $1 of wine. I mean, that was nice goal back then. That was the only goal. It was the only reason to live, was a fresh box of wine. So she wasn't having it, playing with the group she was playing with, and so I'm sure she has a different way to tell the story, but I like to think of it as she was so mad at the girl. She was like, you know what, Gina and Kendra, because like, I'd rather play with these clowns than play with you. So I'll never forget the day she had a dolly for her bass, and she's coming up with her bass, and Melissa, and then they played like How Many Biscuits, Camptown Races, and then You Are My Sunshine, and just all the basic old school songs. And that just kind of went from there. And then we were like, all right, this is fun, because actually clawhammer banjo and upright bass is a great street band. It's loud, it's fun, it's easy. And we were harmonizing, and we learned how to project out on the streets. And it was fun. People loved us, and I think it was the chick factor. But we were young little hillbilly gals from Arkansas. We had that going for us. So that was a lot of fun, and we played together over the years. And then, for me, the nightlife was just getting too much, and the commitment of music. I was leaning towards of the art world, and Melissa now has just invested in herself, and she's just taken off. MelissaCarpet.com. Check her out. She's amazing. But yeah, and I still play. I play for my cat now. I have a guitar and my banjo, and I play for my cat, and I love it. It's just where I want to be.
That's amazing.
It's good cat therapy.
Yeah, she loves me.
Can I ask what kind of cat you have?
Yeah.
She's a little tabby. I just adopted her. She's like a hospice kitty. She's 11 years old,
Oh,
and she's got arthritis and a little heart murmur. So I wanted to adopt a senior cat.
I love that.
Yeah, she's amazing. I don't have time for a cat. I love kittens, but nobody got time for that.
Right.
And
I
yarn.
get that.
Yeah, so she's amazing. She's real chill.
Wonderful.
rough.
We're cat people around here.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm your Karen.
Well, I want to talk about too something that is near and dear to my heart as well as Trey's, and we haven't really touched on it much, was that you did like whole fashion collections with the crochet, and that is amazing. And how cool that you got to experience like runway shows with this, because I have, and Trey's been to some, and we have like that's really exciting. So tell us how that came about.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things to do is fashion shows. I always say, well, I'm not a designer, but if I design something, then I guess I am. So
That's right.
So it started with the Northwest Arkansas Interform. They reached out. Actually, it was Rosie Rose. She's an incredible designer. She's now in Eureka Springs, and she's always there to be supportive. She's like, I was crocheting outfits way before then. I guess that kind of started. She's like, why don't you apply? And I'm like, why don't I apply? So I did, and they said yes, to my surprise. And then again, I'm like, okay. So I guess I got to do 7 looks. And so I picked a theme of the 70s. This was in 2017. So I did the 70s look, and I wanted did bell bottoms and hats, and we had big afro wigs, and I love the 60s dresses too. So I add a little element of that in there. And I really love that because with yarn, it's hard. It's like costume fashion. I borderline on that. So it's hard to make crochet look interesting, in my opinion, as high fashion. I don't know. It was challenging for me. And so it was kind of kooky and different. And a lot of people are like, but it was fun. We had a great time. And then I did it 2 years ago, if that already happened. And I did the space crochet from outer space. That one was one of my favorites because I really got to go out there. And I actually used a silver fabric. So I got to mix.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I did a Ameripolitan in Memphis, which is a really cool awards ceremony for Americana music.
Okay.
A lot of these musicians, such as Melissa and Bonnie Montgomery, and a lot of these musicians, they don't get recognized in the big Grammys, because they're Americana. They're not really country, or country, what the pop country is. They don't get recognized. And so this award ceremony celebrates the underground. And it's a really, 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 really cool event. Highly recommend that you go sometime. And fashion is amazing there too. So they do have a fashion show and just kind of showcasing like nudie suits and all the fashion wear that musicians from the past and today will wear. So I did a tribute. This year it was in Memphis. at Graceland's guest house. So I
Okay.
focused on Priscilla, and I kind of recreated Priscilla's outfits in the crochet world. And
Yeah.
then I did a Crochelvis.
Yes, you
And I
did.
copied the Lansky brothers. To my surprise, the Lansky brothers were in the fashion show. And the Lansky brothers are the ones who designed all of Elvis's suits.
Amazing.
So yeah, and then we got in their magazine, the Lansky Brothers Weekly News. I know, it was like it was incredible. It was super cool. It was a really great experience. Yeah, fashion shows are the best. They're so fun.
I never thought I would say like I thought I will looked through these and went, okay, which one's my favorite so I can talk about it. And like I really love the it's like a black jacket with red squares and little dots around the squares, but the Waffle House dress
Yeah,
takes the cake.
and
I never thought I'd love a Waffle House dress, and here we are.
that's amazing. Yeah, Celine, she's the one who organizes this. Her and her husband Dale Watson have the Ameripolitan Awards, so of course I had to get her. She's a model, and she's just an incredible creative force of she's wonderful. So I wanted to have her as breakfast at Waffle House, Audrey Hartburn, and so being on the road as a musician, which I was on tour with my ex for about 4 years, Waffle
Okay.
House is something that is very common for traveling musicians
Yes.
because it's
Mhm.
always there and it's affordable, and
And
so
it's
you're always eating
good.
at the Waffle House. So I have this, as much as I don't care for the food, I just love. I have it's like, oh, Waffle House. So that's kind of why I wanted to do that, is to kind of give tribute to all the traveling musicians, and plus it's fun. So,
It is. And Waffle House, if you're listening, you need to expand into Minnesota.
yeah.
They're good.
Oh, Huddle House.
Oh, I don't
No.
know if we do.
Okay.
I haven't seen one.
Yeah, in the South
Well,
they have Huddle House, which is like one step
yeah.
up from Waffle House.
Oh, is it? I've never even been to one of those. And I've seen
Oh
them. I just
wow,
haven't been.
you need to come on south, girl.
The closest Waffle House to here is near Indianapolis.
Oh
And
wow,
I've considered that drive.
you could. There's something about it, like I don't know, all your hash browns covered,
Right?
smothered.
Oh my
Yeah.
Right.
god. Or like a chocolate chip pancake at 2 in the morning is
Uh-huh.
like there's
I know.
nothing better.
There's
There's
nothing
nothing
better.
better.
And there's
It is.
something about how they scramble their eggs with cheese. It's just like, yeah, there's just
And there was something like after every fashion show I did, we would go to Waffle House after, or photo shoots and things. We'd go to Waffle House after. It was like
mhm.
our thing. And so the fact that you combined fashion and Waffle House like really hit home. So
I love that.
thank you for doing
Well,
that.
photography, the first show we did in Bentonville, there should be some photos up there. We went to the Waffle House all in crochet, and it was hilarious. My friend Sparky, Mark Wetzel, he is amazing. I had crocheted a Mayon suit, which is head to toe rainbow. And he
Cool.
wore that in the Waffle House. And my friend Stick Brown, I had made these back then. It was J Lo who made it, and like made these booty shorts, and
Okay.
walk around with these booty shorts. And we're like all in crochet. I had my eggs and bacon dress on, and Sparky with his, and the whole staff just loved us, and we were just tearing it up. And at one point, we see this big old redneck go up to Sparky. You know, he's gay, and redneck's Waffle House. What's going to happen here? We're all like, oh, what's going on? And he's like, you won't come outside? We'll get my picture with you. We're like, woohoo! I know, we're like, oh, yay. Crocheting, everybody loves crochet. And I learned that too at the Ameripolitan Awards. You know, I'm like, yeah, everybody loves crochet in every genre. There's no select, certain group that likes it or doesn't like it.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
And for like there's something there for everyone to a degree.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's colorful and it's whimsical. Yes.
That's, the color part of it is, so again, when things started rolling for me, I had Jeremy McGraw once again, he's so smart. We did this yarn illusionary event. It never happened. We got snowed out. It was just a domino effect of why we couldn't redo it. But I had created 6 gowns with big Marie Antoinette wigs. And these gowns took like 2 months each, they're huge. And so the event never happened, but Jeremy documented all of it. And of course, we had a photo shoot. They're incredible. And I guess it got on a blog. He posted it on a blog, and another blog saw it. It was about a year later, 2 years later, Vogue Knitting Live reached out to me, and they were like, "Hey, would you like to come do an art at Vogue Knitting Live?" I'm like, in Minneapolis. I was like,
all right.
Yeah. I'm like, I would love to. And they're like, oh, it doesn't pay. I'm like, okay. And so I was like, what am I going to do? So they liked the gown, and then they liked the bee. I did a bee overall outfit with bee.
Yes.
He said, we like the bee and we like the gowns. Can you combine that? And I said, well, let me do the queen bee. And that's when I did the bee gown with the giant flower. So looking at how to get to Minneapolis, it's a 3-day event. It was the hotel rooms is what cost the most for me. So I was like, how am I going to do this? So did a GoFundMe, and I raised enough money. $1,200 is what it cost. It was exhausting, and this is how I like crochet and traveling. The exhibit was, I had a carpenter build me the fences all out of wood. The flowers were built out of wood. They were heavy, they were bulky. Somehow I fit it all in my little Saturn, including the mannequin. And so I get to Vogue Knitting Live, and I'm by myself. I'm terrified. And this is a knitting event. This is like the finest of fibers, wool, alpaca, hand spun. You've got knitters who are just, way into their craft. It's like Dungeons and Dragons of the yarn world. I mean, I'm just like, and I literally had women look at my exhibit and go, ugh, Red Heart.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What? And I'm like, what's wrong with Red Heart? I'm like, did I not know? I'm like Googling it. Like, what's going on? Why don't they like Red Heart? And nothing about my work, like the yarn. And as I'm going to different vendors, like I see these pins that say death before acrylic. And I'm like, death? You rather... And I'm just like, okay. And I know, so I kind of felt like an idiot, but I did have some people who actually enjoyed what I made. And regardless, and I had thought, I'm like, well, why don't I use expensive stuff? I mean, why don't I use the fine natural fibers? And I guess it's because I was drawn by the color. At that time, Red Heart yarn, yarn is easy accessible other than Red Heart, and
yeah,
they have all the colors. So I'm going for color. And that's why I didn't care, about the fiber. And I had some lady, it hurts my hand, doesn't hurt my hand.
And plus you were doing a lot of outdoor stuff before that, so you would want the acrylic.
Well, I didn't know until later. Yeah, I didn't know until later that. I'm like, oh, here's why I want this yarn. And so I was like, okay, Red Heart is like great art yarn. And because, if I had made a dress for myself out of Red Heart, I'm like, oh, this is bulky, it just adds 20 pounds. It just wasn't, I didn't really care for the clothing, until I discovered other acrylics that are softer and thinner. But so after that event, I was exhausted, and the lady writes back and says, hey, do you want to come to New York City for Fashion Week at Vogue Knitting Live? I'm like, I'm like, yeah. And so I said yes. And then I'm like, oh, do I do another GoFundMe? Like, how am I going to get to New York City? And like, how am I going to bring this queen bee? So it's getting super expensive. And I reached out to Red Heart Yarn. I just wrote him an email, and I'm like, hey, I'm doing all this art with your yarn. It's perfect. I've been, Vogue Knitting. They invited me. Do you want to pay for my trip? And I forgot about it. And about a month later, they're like, yeah, we would love that. Couldn't believe it. So they ended up paying for the trip. But then that
Yeah.
got because how am I going to get the Queen Bee up there? My little Saturn wasn't going to make it, and we can't fly with it. It was so expensive to fly with it.
This is
So
relatable.
Yeah, and freight's like it may or may not get $1,500, and I'm just like, oh crap. But Red Heart agreed to later on they rented a minivan, but this time I had enough money to pay my hillbillies, Gary and Gates. Woohoo! Rest in peace, Gates. But Gary he's like Boomhauer. I'm not lying. He's like, I drove New York City and I'll deliver you and I'll take it up there. So me and Karen, who's on here, she went, and Sparky, all three of us, they were my friends, my support system, and they always model crochet and they walk around in their outfits. So we all flew up there. Gary and Gates drove it up. They were wasted by the time they got there. I guess they drank the whole way. I mean, it was just hilarious. And we're hauling this with these hillbillies and through Times Square. It was magical. And so anyways, after that, Red Heart was on board. We went to San Francisco, Las Vegas, Seattle, Chicago,
Cool.
and San Francisco. Yeah, no, San Francisco, the pineapple. But anyways, so yeah, we did that for a good year, and then Red Heart dropped. They were bought out by another company.
Oh.
So that fun was over. But it was
good
a good
on
year.
them for stepping up and helping you do that.
Yeah, it was amazing. We had a lot of fun. I met some incredible people, and it was great. Friends I still have today. Still invite me to come back up there, but I'm like, I just can't afford that right at this time.
Yeah.
Pay the artist.
Get it. Yeah, pay me.
Yeah, I know. I understand. If it's close,
Right.
maybe. But installation is a lot.
Right. So do you get people who ask you for advice, like, how do I start doing what you do? Like, what do you tell them?
I'm just, don't doubt yourself, and who cares what other people say, and just do it. Believe in yourself and just do it. It took me so long. I'm 51 now, and it's taken me a long time. I was about 46 when I was like, oh, I can do this. And
Oh, that's awesome.
I love my boomer parents, and I know they gave me everything, love, shelter, everything a child could need, but they put a lot of stuff in us that we really had to undo. I come from an old school Italian family, so I was expected to be a housewife or a doctor or a lawyer. There was like no in between. Yeah, I was like, how come I suck at? I'm not reaching any of these goals.
Not a crochet artist.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess I better wait tables. Well, even through the Camptown ladies, I always had a side job because I never believed that we could take this music and make it serious with it. I never thought, oh, that's not for me. Or being an artist, oh, that's not for me. And actually, I think it was Jeremy McGraw. I know I told you I'm on about you. He told me I'm a crochet artist. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not. He's like, yeah, you are. I think about that. I'm like, God, why didn't I think that? I just didn't believe in myself. I didn't think it could happen to me. And then it was in 2021, after the pandemic. I did pretty good in 2020 because I had jobs lined up. But 2021 came around. That was the most difficult for me. And I had somebody go, oh, gee, you're famous. I Googled you. And I just started crying. I'm like, well, if I'm so famous, then why am I so broke? Why don't I have anything to show for? Why isn't my phone ringing off the hook? What's going on? So our friend and I says, hey, can you help me? What's going on? And she's like, well, let's take a look. She's like, well, first of all, your website looks like it's going to give me a virus. And you don't have a bio. You have an artist statement. And I was like, I didn't think that I could have an artist statement. Do you have a headshot? Well, here's a selfie. And like, no, you got to take yourself a little bit more serious. And so, again, I heard that, well, just gaslight yourself. Just pretend.
Just gaslight yourself.
Pretend you're great. Just pretend. And I was like, okay, yeah.
That's
I'm a
actually kind
crochet
of what it
artist at
takes.
NWA.
Yes.
And I'll crochet. And then I made stickers. I made stickers with my name on it. And I remember like, what am I doing? Like, they'll laugh at you. I'm like, who wants a sticker with my name on it? I'm like, I don't care. I'm making them. And it was just part of the process. And just, like I could do this for my friends, but I couldn't do it for myself. And that spoke volumes. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I need some therapy like, or something to like learn about myself and believe in myself because nobody else is going to. And, so that's kind of how all that started. And then also I started applying for grants. I
Okay.
got ballsy with that, and it took a long time. I finally got one. It took 4 years. But I'll tell you, again, it's the process of all of that. I learned so much. Even though I got rejection letters, it helped me discover who I am, because
Yeah.
I took writing classes. I learned about how to do homemade headshots if I had to in a jam, or, how to write a bio, how to keep it fresh, how to change it. And so it took a while. So, and I tell people that too. I'm just like, just do it. Quit thinking, quit using your brain. Use your brain for if you're hungry and so your eyeballs can work, but use your heart to get, like listen to, oh no, I can't, just do it. If that's what you want, just do it. Nobody can say you are a good or bad artist. You decide that. I decide. I'll tell you if I'm an artist or not. And if you like it, great. If you don't, it doesn't matter, because and that people just will catch on. Some of my dearest friends that I've known for over 30 years, I think I wrote on my bio, award-winning crochet artist. And she's like, award-winning, really? I'm like, hey, I have to put something, and award-winning does appeal to somebody you've never met before. And
Yeah.
it's cheesy, but I don't care. I'm going to do it.
So,
I'm like,
Emily, I'm going to ask
and just
Emily, I will ask you a favor. Can you please clip this whole thing and send it to me? Like,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
want the whole answer to this.
The whole
okay,
answer.
Good. Yeah. I mean, it's
You said one thing. You said one thing that made me think of some really good advice. And you kind of already said it, and it was that it's almost like you have to write your bio and write about yourself as if you're doing it for a friend. Because it's hard to do it about yourself.
Yeah.
It's like Trey's first bio on our website, I wrote because it was hard. And I purposely made a bunch of stuff up.
And it was one of the funniest things I have ever read about myself.
But it's like it's hard. There are times when I've gone, gosh, I wish someone else would just write this for me because I feel like I'm bragging. And I'm not, but like it's hard.
Well, there's a thing like in the 90s, it was like, oh no, you must be humble at all times. But things have changed. Now we're for itself. So you really have to believe in yourself. Again, Jeremy, I had said, Jeremy, will you be my manager? He's like, no. I'm like, why? I need a manager. He's like, I won't do it. Why? He's like, you need to know all of this about yourself. Why would you hire somebody to do what you need to already know? You need to run your own ship, and it's like, I have to get it going. And then if I have enough money, then I can maybe hand it over to a manager, but I just can't have somebody else come in and just do it all for me. And I realized, because it's easier to write for a friend. Be your own friend. Learn how to yourself and be your own friend. And it's not that difficult. And you're not bragging. I mean, so people say, oh, she's bragging. I'm like, well, I make a living here.
Well, and you're just
my
being
landlord,
honest.
he doesn't do. Yeah. Yeah, you have to put a little for award winning. You got to get silly with, appeal. And bios are forever changing. They're always changing times and different,
Yes.
people that, what mood I'm in, I'll switch them out. But it's a constant thing. But it's better than doing something, working for a job.
Right. Well, it sounds like a lot of us need a friend like Jeremy. And I'm really
Yes.
happy you had so many friends and supporters show up for our show tonight. So thank you to everyone who has joined.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And
I've got the best ones
I
ever.
applaud all of you who came to join tonight.
Well, if I can interject here, I have one last question for you. And then this has nothing to do with anything we've talked about, but this is a question we love to ask at the end of our podcast for our guest. And that is, you are sitting down to have lunch with anybody in the world, alive or dead. Who is sitting on the opposite side of that table from you?
Oh, is this a dream? Like
Up to
a
you.
wish list?
Yeah,
Up
like
to you.
if you could
I
make
was just
that happen
thinking,
somehow.
I would love to have lunch with Dave Chappelle because I think he's the funniest guy in the entire world, and I think that would be fun. I mean,
That was such a good, quick answer.
yeah, about that. I'm like, I'd like to go have a sandwich with him. I bet you he would be hilarious to talk with. I don't know. He might be boring. And then I was like, well, what if he's like boring? Like, what if he's not anything funny like he is on TV? I don't know.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's at the door?
Dave, if you're listening.
Hello, yes, Dave Chappelle. Yep. We want to schedule lunch with you. Yes.
Yes.
Dave,
Gina,
come to Fayetteville.
Gina, this last hour with you has
Yay.
been so incredible. You have so much joy. You bring so much laughter, and I love your perspective on art. So thank you for spending time with us today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. I love talking with y'all. It was friends that showed up, made me look cool. Shit, y'all. Love y'all.
I do want to take a moment to shout out Gina. You can find Gina on Instagram at Gina Rose Gallina. You can also find her website. I want to make sure that I get this. GinaGallina.com, where you can find more of her work and some of the art that we've talked about throughout the episode today. So please go out and support her. You can also purchase some of the patterns that are on her website and see some of the cool pictures that she's taken. Like, I love some of these selfies and some of these headshots that you've done. These are incredible. So seriously, go check out her work and support Gina. And yeah, we look forward to whenever your next fashion venture will be. But as we close this episode out, I want to thank everyone for tuning in with us here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find additional episodes from The Modern Romantic on our website at themodrom.com. You can support us if you're able to on Patreon. Just search for The Mod Rom on Patreon. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great 2026, everybody.